Hello, Tom. Oh, I was just out in the garden getting cleaned up here, and I wanted to show you the different sprinkler heads that we could use at your place. Most of mine are on 1/2 inch PVC. There is some on poly. Your place you would do on poly purely because you don't have to bury it. It's all above ground. Yours, it would just run around the perimeter of your backyard, which I think is pretty well all concrete. And you just run a 1/4 inch line from the main line. Main line could be used as a 1/2 inch or 3/4. Probably 3/4 is better. I'm guessing you probably have pretty good gallons per minute. Here I have about 6 gallons per minute. So I use 1/2 inch because 1/2 inch can handle, 5.5, 6 gallons per minute. If you had 10 gallons a minute, I would go with 3/4. And you don't need a lot of pressure. 40 pounds would be enough in most cases. But I'll show you what I have. Some of the things I use are they're what they call them micro heads. I'm just going to put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing here. Hold on 1 second with me. There. This is a micro head. A little blue thing determines the amount of volume of water comes out. Blue is mid-range, black is the smallest, grey or white are the biggest. You never use those, very rarely. You use reds, greens and blues usually, and I use blacks in some areas. So in mine, this is what I use. I use a 1/2 inch PVC, which is that there with a little dome top on it. But in your case, you wouldn't do that, I don't think. I would go with poly pipe, connecting with this little 1/4 inch tubing, which goes, I'll show you where it goes. And you can either run the 1/4 inch tubing out to a stake head like this, which is just a little fitting plastic with the 1/4 inch pipe going to a little riser, and then there is, I think on this one, there is a black head somewhere. Where's the black head? Ah, there we are. I have a little black. You can see it's what they call a 1/2. So those would work good. But I think the best thing for your place would be the little sprays. I call them volcanoes, and they call them little finger sprays, and they work really good. And you can turn them on and off. I'll go into the workshop and show you what I have. The glory hole. They're things like this here. You can see it's got a little, if I can get a better light on it. They have little holes. You see them on the outside there? That's what I call a finger spray. Each one of those holes, a little stream of water comes out. And on this one, it's what I call a volcano. And it's just like a fountain. And these can all be screwed up and down quite easily for opening and closing. If I can jam this in here, I can maybe show you what I mean. This top on the head, I think there's an arrow on it, but this screws. I'm trying to do it one-handed here, but I can't do it one-handed. It just unscrews and screws up, and you can close it right off. The same with this one here, exactly the same. You can close them right off, open them up, and they will do a spray for you. Sorry, it's a bit there you can see they screw, and you can open and close them, and they're really easy to install. They're just on the side of the head with a little 1/4 inch fitting right there, which is that 1/4 inch tubing goes on like that, and that other end goes into the pipe. And it's a case of having the pipe, punch a little hole in the pipe with a little tool, and it goes in like that into the pipe. Just pushes into the pipe. The little tool you use is a little punch like that there. So you just take that, push it in, and I always use pliers. It's easier on the fingers to hold it. And then same with this little fitting here, you just grip it with the pliers and then you just push it in and it snaps into place. And that's all there is to it. They don't leak. They work really good. They're easy to repair. And going around the yard, we can use L's like this, 90-degree L's on the corners. We can plug the last end up with a plug like this, and we can join pipes together like this. And we also have T's. I don't have a T handy, but there are T's. Here's a T, but this is actually a 3/4 inch T, not a 1/2 inch T. So it's all very easy, and you can put it together with Jubilee clips. I use squeeze clamps, and that's all there is to it. Now to get your takeoff for your water, you would go to a tap, a normal tap like this here. And you could either go directly onto the tap with this type of fitting. I'll show this one here. With this here. And that would screw onto the tap, and then your pipe would go on the end of here, your 1/2 inch or 3/4 pipe. Or you could put one of these on, a Y, so you still always have your tap free, and then just come off one side with your pipe for the irrigation. Better still, they're pretty cheap, these. I mean, they're like $50. My cost, any $50-$60 my cost for a single station. This one's a 4-station one. This is an older one. They run off a 9-volt battery. They fit on the tap. This is actually not a screwed fitting. This one's actually a push-on fitting, but it's got a right down there. You can see it. There's a tap fitting right there, so it actually screws right on the tap. And then you would use this dial here to change your settings. You know, you got your set the clock, set the days, start time. Hello again, Tom. I just wanted to show you the sprays working. This is a small one, a black, so you can see it's really fine. Come above it, you might see a bit better. Very fine mist almost. They're really good. Now the ones I was telling you at the volcanoes, here's one that's just about completely turned off. I'll see if I can turn it on a bit. Oh, there, you see them? You see, they do, and you can turn them right down to just that, you see. So you've got really good control on them, or you can turn them right off. But that's pretty well it, really. If I go over to a different zone here, I can show you a few more. I'll just turn my timer off. I'll turn it to run. Enter. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 4, 5. Put a bit of time in, and you'll see number 5 zone, which is around here. This is slightly different. That's a bigger one there. It's quite a bit larger head. You could use these two if you've got a big area, but you won't have a big area, I don't think. But here's a blue one working. And you can see it's blue. We were using a black before. You can see those a bit better. They actually work really well. There's a green. See if I can zoom in on the green for you. That's a 1/4 worth. There's a, can't tell what color that one is. Buried in the garden. And there's a red. There's a red. I'm standing back here, and that red is probably 8 feet away from me. There it is there. So you can see the red is performing really well. If I can stand behind it, you might get a bit better. There. Just look at the garden next door from the back. We're sort of blending the two lawns in here. And there's that one, which is a much bigger one. That's a lawn spray. So if you want to do your lawns, you could also do your lawn. It wouldn't be hard to do. That's slightly bigger head. Just been out in the garden all day today here, cleaning up, cutting stuff off, pruned up the buddleia. Oh, and this is a spinner. These are quite good too. I'll show you a spinner. It's like a little rotary head that spins. You get quite wet when you get next to those, but it just throws water out quite well. And you can see how the pots are done there. Looks a bit scruffy right now because I'm pulling them apart, but you can see the way the heads are on the stalks going into a pot like that there, you see. And another one here. And it just punches into the line. That is it. And so I can send you all this stuff. I mean, I have stacks of it, so there's no point you buying it. I mean, like it wouldn't cost much to ship. I could just stick it in a box, and if you go over the winter, over land, or what they call oversea, which takes about, I think, 6 weeks. I mean, you'd say there's no hurry for it, so I could just put it in a box and send it over to you. All right, bye for now.